Once upon a time, in a small village nestled among the hills of Nigeria, there lived a woman named Nene. She was known throughout the village as the best cook around, her culinary skills bringing joy to the hearts and bellies of all who tasted her food. Nene's friend Chinansa often helped her in the kitchen, their laughter filling the air as they chop, stir, and simmer. One day, news spread like wildfire through the village that King Ike had divorced his wife and was in search of a new queen. Many women flocked to the palace, hoping to catch the king's eyes with their beauty and charm. But Nene paid no heed to the gossip swirling around her. She was too busy tending to her pots and pans. The tantalizing aroma of her cooking wafting through the village streets. Chinansa, however, had other ideas. "Why don't you go to the palace, Nene?" she suggested one day as they prepared a feast for the village elders. "You are the best cook in the village, and everyone knows it. Maybe the king will appreciate your talent more than your looks." Nene laughed at the idea. "Me? Marry the king? That's assault. Besides, I am happy here in the village, cooking for my friends and neighbors. I have no desire to live in a palace." But Chinansa was persistent, and with each passing day, she wore down Nene's resolve. Finally, Nene agreed to accompany her friend to the palace, if only to put an end to her pestering. As they approached the palace gate, Nene's heart pounded in her chest. She felt out of place among the finely dressed women who vied for the king's attention, their faces caked with makeup and their hair pale high atop their heads. But when Nene stepped into the palace kitchen, she felt right at home. The familiar smell of spices and herbs enveloped her like a warm embrace, and she set to work preparing a meal fit for a king. To her surprise, it was not long before King Ike himself entered the kitchen, drawn by the mouth-watering aroma that filled the palace hall. His eyes wide in delight as he beheld the feast spread out before him, and he wasted no time in sampling Nene's culinary creation. With each bite, the king's face lit up with pleasure, and Nene couldn't help but feel a swell of pride in her chest. For the first time, she understood the power of her cooking to bring joy and happiness to others. When the meal was over, King Ike approached Nene, his eyes twinkling with admiration. "You are truly a master of your craft," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "I have never tasted food so delicious in all my life." Nene blushed at the king's praise, her heart fluttering in her chest. But before she could respond, the king surprised her once again by dropping to one knee before her. "Nene," he said, taking her hand in his, "will you do me the honor of becoming my queen? I have searched far and wide for someone who can bring as much joy to my heart as your cooking has, and I believe I have found her in you." Nene's heart swelled with emotions as she gazed into the king's eyes. She had never imagined that her cooking could lead to such a momentous opportunity, but now that it had, she knew she could not refuse. "Yes, your majesty," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I will be honored to be your queen." And so Nene traded in her apron for a crown, leaving behind her humble life in the village to embark on a new adventure as the queen of the land. But no matter where her journey took her, She never forgot the village that had shaped her into the woman she had become, nor the friend who had believed in her all along.